Hello to all of our BPTV fans, YouTube fans, and new fans. This is another one of our by request where Jessica Lee, the jazz singer, and Al Levine, the talking machine, present you a by request show that people are suggesting songs that inspire them. And we have a great guest, but I'm going to bring Jess on first to tell us what our game plan is. Jess, how are you?
Hi, Al. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
As we always do, Al, what are you drinking?
I got my special talking machine green tea from Tupelo Honey. It has a reddish hibiscus in it.
Okay, there it
Sip,
is.
sip by sip to better health.
I'm drinking sparkling water today, so to your health, Al. Yeah,
Health back at you.
everybody, we have a great show today. We're in the holiday season, and Al, you and I were kind of speaking about the holiday season. It's a sentimental time for
Yes,
everybody. It's sometimes joyful, sometimes full of memories. Sometimes we're missing some people who can't make it to the holiday gatherings, and sometimes we're missing people who have gone on to heaven. But it's a beautiful time, even though there's sometimes, like we were saying, there's some twinges on the old heart, right? So we've had
yes.
a lot of song requests coming this holiday season for particular songs with lyrics. And one of them that is kind of in that vein, sentimental but beautiful as well, is a song that's called "I'll Be Home for Christmas," and so that was requested by many people, and I think many people have. Hey, after 2 years of a pandemic, we're moving on to the 2 year mark. We're getting ready to come out the other end and be healthier and happier, and they're getting a little more hopeful, and people are gathering. So I think this song is appropriate for everybody who's able to gather. And then, the lyric says, if only in my dreams. So some people are like, I want to be there, but I can't make it for whatever reason. And so it has a little bit of everything, Al. And Mark Strickland and I have a version of this that has a Latin kind of a groove. And so it's a little bit of an uplifting rhythm, if you will. And so that's our first song. Did you take a look at that particular song to see if there's any history to it?
Yes, I did, Jess. I like history, and you set the table for me, and I have some info for you. And it was a Christmas song written by lyricist Kim Gannon and composer Walter Kent. It was recorded in 1943 by everybody's heard of this gentleman, Bing Crosby.
Amen,
And
Al. Yep.
and he scored a top 10 hit with that. And it was originally written to honor soldiers overseas who long to be home at Christmas. And it has since become a Christmas standard. So I respect you picking this theme song. It's so apropos. And in 1944, I'll Be Home for Christmas became the most requested song at Christmas USO shows. So that was an amazing thing. And GI Magazine said that Crosby accomplished more for morale than anyone else in this era. So
Well,
what an
that's a
honor.
yeah, that's a beautiful history. Thank you for that, Al. And I think that I'll be home for Christmas, whether you can be in person or you're with in spirit with people and in thought and in memory. And today we have a beautiful guest, inside and out. I have a wonderful friend who's going to pop on the screen soon and introduce herself. And she founded a wonderful organization that helps people in need. And during the holidays, Al, I thought, what a beautiful feature. And so, if we could welcome a guest, Al, you ready for a lovely lady named Bonnie who may be able to appear?
How can I refuse Jessica Lee with another great lady coming on with me? Do it. Let's move
All
forward.
right, Bonnie, if you don't mind appearing and introducing yourself and your organization.
Am I appearing?
Yes,
Oh,
you're
okay. Hi.
appearing.
Yes,
And
This
yes.
is all this.
I just like to welcome you with this sign, Bonnie. That's the peace
Oh,
sign, right?
absolutely. Yes,
So,
yes.
So you have a beautiful story to tell about Hairpiece and who you are, a little bit about your background and how you came to found this particular organization and start it up.
Sure. Yeah, yeah, thank you so much. And I will say it's interesting because I work on the radio, as some of you may know, and right now 3WS is playing all Christmas music 24/7. We started it in November, and it's going through, I don't know how long until we all explode. But yeah, we do play a lot of Bing Crosby. He is very popular, I might add. So
Yes.
Pittsburgh loves their Christmas music, obviously. So that's the calling that we have at the radio station right now. So we love the music. So I'll be happy to hear your version of that. But yeah. So I am Bonnie Diver. I have been doing radio for many many years, and uh, 18 years ago, I was out riding my horse and I had a bad fall and broke my shoulder blade. And then as I was checking out all the bumps and bruises, I found the lump on the side of my breast and had the doctors check that out as well as with everything else and discovered that I had breast cancer. And I was quite surprised because I'd had a mammogram every year since for the last 6 years. I was 46 at the time and I was within my year. And I said, well, how could this possibly be cancer when I had a mammogram? And they said, well, we're here to tell you that mammograms are good, but not foolproof. So you have to do a self exam as well as your screenings and keep up on all of those things. And so I went through my treatment. I, of course, was on the radio. And so I talked a lot about being an advocate to say, you need to make sure you do a self exam and you need to get your screenings and don't miss those things because it's so important because early detection will save your life. And basically that wasn't early enough detection for me and it did save my life. My doctors were able to take care of things and I worked through my treatment. And so my doctors on the other side of this said, well, hey, you're on the radio, you have a voice and you can do something. So this is something
Bonnie, and
that needs,
right there,
yeah,
your radio name for everybody is
Bonnie Diver.
Bonnie Diver, because you have a couple of names, and so the people sometimes know you by Bonnie Diver Hall and Bonnie Diver,
Right, right.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah. Yeah. So the
so,
name,
so,
yeah.
so on the radio, you say so you're on the radio. You're at this point in your treatment, but the organization has not come to your mind yet to start up at this point.
Oh, no, no. Yeah. I always say I never dreamed I'd have cancer and I never dreamed I'd start an organization. That was never something that I ever thought of. But my doctors at the end of my treatment said, you're a person that we think can make this happen. Most insurance companies don't pay for wigs when women are going through treatment with chemotherapy and they lose their hair. And it's an expense. It's difficult with time off of work, co-pays, deductibles, all the things. It's very expensive to be thrown into a diagnosis of cancer. And so buying a wig can be something that is difficult as well. And so they said, why don't you do this? And it was the calling that I said, the light went off and I said, all right, if not me, then who? And so I actually went to my church, Ingomar Methodist Church, and said, can you guys help me out with this? And they said, yeah, let's do it. And so it just went rolling. And so I've always said hairpiece is not my inception. It's something that came from a divine, moment. And God has always been the leader of this. And so for the past 17 years, we've helped hundreds and hundreds and really thousands of women in Western Pennsylvania with funds. We give $200 to help to pay for a wig when women are going through chemotherapy. And it's any type of cancer. So not just breast cancer like what I had, but we had calls from other people that needed help. And we said, well, as long as the money's there, we will help. And so we say that Hairpiece Charities has, in peace, it's like the peace sign. So I loved your piece to start us off. That was our connection, gal. And so Hairpiece is what we call hair, prayer, and care. So not only do we help out with the hair by the funding that we send out to whatever salon you choose, but we also have prayer, and we have every woman that I talk to that needs help, I ask if they want to be on our prayer list, and we send cards and pray for each of them and give them encouragement and hope. And then the care part of that is that what we call the bridge to wellness, and we have support groups. We have a couple books that we send out to every woman that I speak to. One is called Prayers to Get Through Cancer, You're Never Alone, written by Maureen Murray, who is actually someone from the South Hills area. Unfortunately, she passed away a few years ago, but she wrote this fantastic book, and it's page after page of a prayer that you would need for your different situations. So the night before chemo, being afraid to tell your kids, being told you're fine, but you're afraid it'll come back. So all these lovely prayers that are like the 3 o'clock in the morning kind of thing. So we find that very helpful. The other book we have is called The Warrior's Guide, and that's information about good food and fighting stress and things that you can do to get your game on to be a better, healthier person all around, to get you to the next level, because we think cancers can be a wake up call to say, okay, now I got to get serious about being healthier in my life and doing better things for myself, and fighting stress and enjoying the important things in life. So that's kind of what Hairpiece Charities is. That's.
So Bonnie, that's a beautiful overview. And for people who are hearing this for the first time about hairpiece, and again, PEACE, is the best place to learn a little bit more, even about the books that you just mentioned, your website, or do you need to really become involved with the organization in a different way in order to access the benefits? Do you need to be somebody who's fighting cancer?
Well, we have on our website, which is Hairpiece, as I said, PEACE, hairpiece.org, O-R-G. There's information for the survivor that's just getting ready, that hasn't been to a salon yet. We have information about what you can expect to go to a salon for them to do for you. We have a list of salons that are very good, that are all throughout Western Pennsylvania. So if you're in Latrobe, there's one. If you're in Mercer County, there's one. If you're in Bethel Park, we have great resources there that we can recommend for a
And
great
when you
salon for
say
you to go.
salons, you're meaning to look for a great wig for yourself. Is that what
Right,
yeah.
right. So it's important to go. So they're medical hair loss professionals, basically, but the salons are for medical hair loss, and not like going to um, online and trying to find something that just fits. You need to have someone sit down with you, measure your head, pull out some wigs that they think, this is what the style you're looking for. You want to look like yourself. You want to change your look, and show you how to take care of it, and help to fit you and take care of you along the way. So these are wonderful people that deal just with medical hair loss for cancer patients. So we have that list on our site. We also have information with videos of people who have been there, done that, and all the different things that are part of the. So you don't feel like you're alone.
Right.
It's a very alone feeling when you're told you have cancer. You're the only one in the room, and I'll never forget. We never forget those moments when the doctor says, "I'm sorry you have cancer." It's like, wow, this is a this is a moment, and the floor is going to open up and seal and take me down, and that'll be it. But you pick yourself up, and then you just are like, oh, bumping into things. What do I do now? And everybody does it differently, but we have a really
Yeah.
great network
You know,
of being
yeah,
there.
so Bonnie, like you said, the type of cancer doesn't matter. It could be breast cancer, it could be another type of cancer, but if there's a need for a wig, you have these great services and funding available. And is it women only, though? This is for women specifically?
Yeah, and so it's for women or girls. So sorry, Al, you can't help you out, but I can give you some names of places. But no, we are women and girls. So we have heard from parents who have children as young as 6 and 7 years old, and teenagers, and it's amazing the women in their 20s who are, that I talk to, that will say, you know. I kept saying something didn't seem right. And I went to my daughter and they say, "Oh, you're too young to have cancer. It must be something else." And the lesson on that is you are your best advocate, and you have to take care of yourself. You're the captain of your ship. If your ship goes down, everybody else jumps off. You go down with the ship. So it's very important for you to get your strength up and say, "I'm going to fight for myself." And And what are you fighting for? Those are the things that keep you there. So even if you don't feel some days like you can get out of bed and you can fight for yourself, there are those reminders of who you're fighting for. And
Yeah.
that's the important thing about life.
Yeah, yeah, those really important things, and many of those things aren't things; they're
Right.
people and relationships,
Absolutely.
and going back for one moment, Bonnie, to what you said about loneliness and feeling lonely and isolated. I think a lot of people watching today can identify that with that, even if they aren't fighting cancer right now. The pandemic has been tremendously isolating, and for the first time in some people's lives, they felt isolated when they never had before. So they can relate a little bit more to that feeling of I'm alone with this diagnosis or this fight. Al and I had, interestingly, a talk about that just a couple of days ago about loneliness during the holidays and this feeling of being alone. And I told him my first album that I ever recorded is an album called Bluebird Fly. And a gentleman lost his wife after she fought cancer brilliantly, and she did go on to heaven. And he told me his favorite song on that album was the saddest song. It was called Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child. And
Mm.
there were all these upbeat songs, and I thought he was going to tell me one of those was the song he listened to. He said, "No, I like this song because it makes me realize I'm not alone. There are so many people right now who feel alone and are fighting something, and I feel community in this song, and that I'm not alone. And you and Hairpiece have created a network of individuals who care, resources, money for particular things." All kinds of assistance. And we're going to talk about that a little more and about an event that's coming up to support Hair Peace. But let's go ahead and take a listen to that first song. What do you say for I'll Be Home for Christmas to get all those around you who you love this holiday, at least up here.
In your dreams. In your dreams, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. What do you think, Al? Let's go hear the song and we'll come back and talk to Bonnie a bit more.
Can't wait, Jess. Let's do it.
I'll be home for Christmas. You can plan on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents by the tree. Christmas Eve will find me with a love like leaves. I'll be home for Christmas if only I dream. joy rises by a tree. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams. Only in my dreams.
Just a great song, Jess, truly.
By request, yeah, we went into BPTV Studios specifically to just record a couple of these Christmas requests. So we thank Dave Cable and the whole BPTV staff and Al and everybody for helping us to do that, to honor some of the requests. But Al, let's bring Bonnie back and let's talk with Bonnie a little bit about some of the ways that we can all get involved with Hairpiece and engage and maybe support in various ways, including in very fun ways. So what do you say, Al? Let's bring her back.
Bonnie, come on back, even if you can't help me out directly.
Well,
I'm willing to listen. I'll
I
listen.
I can give you some advice about healthy living. So, that's the
So
thing.
can I. So can I, actually.
Aw.
I believe in it, and I survived a kidney transplant from 2 years ago.
Oh, God bless
My
you.
son was my living donor, and I'm doing great, and so is he. And I try to eat healthy, and that may have helped save my life and overcome it so quickly.
Yep,
So
yep, yeah.
that's
Yeah,
only a little bit of my story. So I just wanted to share that with you.
that's great. Well, good. God bless you. And that's really, it's hard when you're going through a dark time like that, when you're stuck in it, to be able to see on the outside of that sphere, because you feel like, this is, I don't know what my future is going to be. And so those times can be very difficult. And for those of us who have been there, done that, and gotten to the other side, it certainly is a reflection sometimes. And I always feel like it can be such a learning experience to find out, number one, how strong you are, what you're fighting for, how much you're loved, and really in a faithful way, how close God can be when you really need him. He shows up. And in my many years of being on this world, I can say to someone when I talk to them on the phone, so every person that needs help with Hairpiece calls me. All right, so I talk on the phone to each person. And so over 400 this year, and close, getting close to 500. So those are my afternoons, talking to these ladies. And sometimes they can be an hour-long conversation, but, talking about what they're going through with treatment, what to expect if they haven't, gone to a certain point of the treatment, and ways to help to get through that, like some of the natural tips, like ginger chews are really good to help fight nausea. They use it for people who are on a plane or on a boat and get seasickness. So, and ginger is really good for you, really healthy. And so you get these ginger chews for like $4 a bag. You start to feel sick to your stomach, pop one in your mouth, and you suck on it for a while, and it's a great remedy to help.
Bonnie, where can people get those ginger chews, generally speaking?
You can go online, GNC has them, but you go online, that's what we do, everything, right? Amazon. And I also tell you, it's interesting because with the pandemic, with COVID, people are trying to be all healthy and fighting infections and germs and things like that. Well, you go through cancer, or like with Al, you go through what you've gone through. We had to be really careful about germs at that time. And so we kind of have already written the book for some of these people, and so we'll say, yeah, this is how you wash your fruits and vegetables when you come home. You get it, fill up the sink with some warm water, some vinegar, baking soda, rub them, give them a little massage, rinse them off, and that cleans them off so well. Brazil nuts, a really great way to keep your white count numbers up, which is important going through chemo, and fight infection. Good protein, good fat. They taste good. So roasted Brazil nuts, you find them a lot of times at Christmas time. They are so good. So when you're going through chemotherapy, if you can eat like 6 or 7 Brazil nuts a day, they will help fight that, infection. And so things like that are the things that we talk about, as I talk to each person on the phone. I just keep, I could talk to you all day about the things that we chat about, but it is about, once you get to the other side of your treatment, you are a different person, but you try to find meaning to your battle and meaning to the places that you had to go, which were sometimes very dark. And so what do you do with that when you come into the light? You can be the person that says, oh, grandma, I can't believe you went through cancer, and look how brave you were and you got through it really well. How did you do that? And grandma can say, well, I had faith in God that he was walking with me every moment of the way. And then the kids say, I want that. So, you can add meaning to your battle on the other side. And so that's sort of how we like to frame it up a little bit. It is a difficult time. It is an uncertain time. We like to have control in our life. And this is a time when we feel very out of control. Our hair's coming out. I can't control that. I can't control how people are going to react to me if they see me at the grocery store and some kid says, oh, look, she looks like an alien. So those are things that we have to kind of redefine what's important in life. And that's how Hairpiece can help. And so that's the community and the support. We do support groups and things like that. So how does all that get funded? So we do really fun events. And, coming from radio background, I know about events. And so, we try to get people out and about, spending some money for a good cause, having a good time. And there's several different ways that we do that. So our annual event is called Recipe for Hope. And this year it's going to be July the 9th. And we're at the Marinick Center on Camp Horn Road. And it's a great big giant log cabin. And we have like between 18 and 20 radio and TV people that come in, serve their favorite foods. So you walk around and you meet all these guys from the different radio stations and the different TV stations. And we have auctions and all kinds of fun stuff like that. So it's a great time. That's our big one. And this will be our 17th year coming up that we will do that. We also have the Tanger 5K, which is at the Tanger outlets in Washington, PA. And that's in October. We have a 5K, kids get involved, parents get involved, teams get involved, coworkers, everybody comes out. We go around the parking lot around the mall 4 times. It's a 5K and raise money for Hairpiece. And that's always been really, really a great event for us. And then we have a new event that's coming up. So normally we would have Recipe for Hope in the late spring, but because of COVID, we had to move it back this year. And so I'm not ready to move it back up to March. So we said, well, we want to fill the gap a little bit. And Hotel Indigo called us up and they said, we'd love to have you guys come out and do an event because we've got a great space and we love what you do and you've helped some of our employees.
Now, Bonnie, there's 2 Hotel Indigos in Pittsburgh, right? So this is the one down by the Hot Metal Bridge downtown, across on the Pittsburgh side of the Hot Metal Bridge, not on the south side part. Is that correct?
Right. So it's on 2nd Avenue near the Hot Metal Bridge. They call that Oakland. And so near the Technology Innovation Center area. So we'll be there, and we're doing it on February 26th, 2 days before my birthday, and great way to have a party, right? And so we're gonna, and it's right before Mardi Gras. So we said, well, let's do a Mardi Gras theme, and we're calling it Mardi Gras for Hope. So normally we do Recipe for Hope. So this is Mardi Gras for Hope. And we're going to do that on February 26th. We'll be in the bar in the lobby area. We're going to limit it just to 100 people, which is a nice size crowd without getting too tight. And we're bringing in some New Orleans flavor. We've got New Orleans food coming in and some drinks, and people are just jumping in. And of course, we're going to have New Orleans jazz music. And I'm hoping that Jessica Lee knows how to channel her Ella Fitzgerald, maybe, and bring in a little Louis Armstrong in there, and we can have some New Orleans jazz music. So
we're coming. So I just want to say, Bonnie, that this is a really exciting kind of event. That the end of February is right where everybody wants to start coming back out again after the cold winter. And, I think that so that everybody knows the space that you're talking about, Bonnie, it really is large. There's a really large restaurant, bar, and then you're going to be spilling out even into the lobby area. So 100 people, you could still be socially distanced. You're not going to be crowded and jammed in. But I'm so excited to sing because we're going to have Hugo Cruz on percussion, and he's unbelievable percussionist and drummer. And the rhythms, you talk about New Orleans and jazz and Mardi Gras and all of the wonderful rhythms will be there. And we have a Grammy-winning saxophonist coming that evening, Eric Lawrence, and Mark Strickland will be on guitar, and I'll be singing. And we're just going to have so many musical friends joining us that we're going to have a good time there. But Bonnie, what is the times you're starting and ending when, and how do people sign up?
6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And the Hotel Indigo has said that they will do a special hotel rate for people who buy tickets. So if you want to stay overnight at the hotel, super easy. And so that's how we're going to do that. So tickets will be $75 the month of the show. But if you want to get them in advance, they'll be $50. So it's a $50 ticket. As I said, we're limiting it to 100 people. It's a huge space. It's a really cool space, and yeah, we'll be all Mardi Gras out and everything, and we'll do some neat auctions, and we're going to have the king and queen of Mardi Gras, I just found out, is going to be Heather Abraham and David Highfield from KDK Pittsburgh Today Live. So they've come to a lot of our events, and they're a lot of fun, and so they're going to put on the crowns.
That's good. That's good. So it's happy hour, it's dinner as well. It's like a supper club kind of a thing. And it's just sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. And the best way for people to kind of contact is through the website, as I'm guessing.
Yeah. And so to sign up through our website, we haven't put the tickets up yet, but I will in 5 minutes. so, so it's kind of coming together quickly, but it's so it's hairpiece.org. And the other great thing that you can do when you go to the website is sign up for our newsletter. So I do an email newsletter that comes out a couple times a month, and it talks about our support groups that we have for our women. We have the North and the South Hills. It talks about things that we're doing and then the events. And so it's for our people who need support and people who want to give support. So it's those who give and those who get support from Hairpiece Charities. So it's a great way to keep in touch with us, to sign up for the newsletter, and we'll have the PayPal that you can do there at the website too.
Okay. And so, Bonnie, I will say the second song that we'll end with for this particular show today really thematically connects for me with everything that you've personally done and Hairpiece has done for so many over time. Today, we've talked about some of the faith-based themes and also holiday themes, and where life can be pretty hard and sometimes a little bit scary or a lot scary. Those themes of faith and hope, and then spreading some love and joy around. And I think that you have done that for so many people over the years. And as a professional vocalist, you are a professional voice user, and you are a radio pro, and then you're speaking with all kinds of women who need help in your spare time when you're not on the radio. So you're using that beautiful voice of yours for good and to spread a ton of hope and joy. And I just want to tell you, thank you for all the good that you put out. And, that we're fans and we want to support in whatever way we can. And the songs were requested this holiday season coming in, and I said, well, we're going to do a funk version of Joy to the World for Bonnie.
Oh, that's so nice. I love
Because
that.
she's
Yeah.
just bringing it. And we'll end with that. But before we do end, Bonnie, do you have any last little piece that you'd like to share? Or Al, do you have any final question for Bonnie that she didn't hit for the people who are watching today?
Well, I want to thank Bonnie for being a great guest. And I lost a girlfriend 8 years ago to cancer. So I understand what happened with losing hair and things like that, and how you provide great services for people in need. And when we get through it, like myself and others, we know God walks with us, and we're truly blessed. That's what I tell people. And just stay positive. It helps so much with positive reinforcement that you've described and I practice. And it means a lot to people that are going through this. Like, I never said, why me? I go, I'm going to get better somehow, some way, because I believe God wants me around a little bit longer. So I'm
Well,
blessed.
right. And I do love talking to groups. So if anybody has a group that, a church group or a Rotary group or whatever, I love to talk about what we do and just to spread the information out there about how, our community is pretty amazing in the Pittsburgh area to be able to support us and to be able to do this for so many years. And again, like I said, it's led by God. But, one thing I will say, talking about you still being here, Al, is that, I talk to the kids groups, I will say, the same God who made the mountains and the oceans and the galaxies and the stars, looked down at the world and said, I need one of you. And so he put you here. And so you've got some great reason to be here that's all part of the whole cosmic scene of how important you are. And if you haven't figured out what that important thing is, it's coming. I just got to say it's coming because you are so important, and he made puppies and kittens and, and ice cream cones and whatever else that is. Those are all here because they've got some very important reason. And even though the world is not perfect because we're a fallen world, he will always save us and he will always have the last word. So Christ is the big C and cancer is the small c. So thank you so much for letting me talk a little bit about what we do. It's obviously a huge passion for my life that I never dreamed I would have, like I said, but I am happy to do this and help women out.
Well, we have, I think all of us may have a mutual friend, Sam Sandora. Those who know Sam Sandora and his great sense of humor, and he's a producer and actor and more. And he always says to me, Jess Wiggill, Wiggil, what is God? God is love. And then he says, Wiggill, dance with joy. So we're hoping to see many of our friends at your events, hairpiece events, in the coming years, and especially this year as we come out of COVID and hopefully have a much healthier for everybody and happier year.
Yeah.
So thank you, Bonnie, for being with us today. And Al, thank you so much for giving us the chance to do the Bible Quest show and helping to produce it. To
You're
Dave
welcome.
Cable and team who, help us to record everything. And I just want to also thank everybody for making the song requests. Keep them coming. We know the lyrics can be uplifting and sometimes the rhythms as well, and the harmonies and melodies. So joy to the world, everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy holiday season to each of you.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. Heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the earth, the Savior reigns. Let us our songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks, hills and plains repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy. No more let sin and sorrows grow, nor thorns infest the ground. He comes to make his blessings flow. For as that curse is found, for as the curse is found, for as the curse is found. He rules the world with truth and grace and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness, wonders of his love and wonders of his love and wonders, wonders of his love. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. Heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing.
Yes, Merry Christmas to all of you. And Bonnie, you'll see me at your event, February 26th. I'll be there.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for it, especially for this great cause.
Yeah.
And you're
we'll,
just
we'll
so,
have some beads for you, Matt. I'll get your beads ready.
okay.
You don't get a wig, but you'll get beads. That's good, Al.
But, hey, that sounds like a plan.
She's taking it. Yeah.
I'm in it. I'm in it to win it. So that'll be great. And good luck to you and all you do, Bonnie.
Thank you.
And can't wait to see you in February.